Hi, this is Craig. This is another mindfulness podcast. The theme for this one is our egos and our ego armor. Now, I speak about ego quite a bit in a lot of these podcasts, but just as a reminder what ego is, it's our resistance to life, to what is happening in the now. It's when we go into our minds and we start judging or analyzing what is happening. So we lose our acceptance of the moment and we enter our thinking process. Now, often our ego manifests in situations where the event or the situation we're in is considered a threat. It's considered that there's something that could be disturbing our peace. And so this can range widely between people. Some people will get annoyed standing in a supermarket queue, for example, whereas other people might not. Other people might get angry at people or try and defend themselves or shout or be violent in their demeanor. And these people have a lot of ego, and it's been built up over many years. We all have an ego. As soon as we're born, we have an ego because it's our fight or flight, it's our stress response. And obviously, if there are things in life that are threatening, life threatening, then of course we would go into our ego, and that would be there to protect us and keep us safe. So I kind of equate ego as putting on a kind of suit of armor. This is what I mean by ego armor. And so if you're in a conflict with someone or something, we put on our armor. We try and defend ourselves. This happens a lot in conversation and communication. There's another podcast on mindful communication which talks more about ego in the realm of communication. But what happens is that this ego is a habit, and it's protected us for so long. We go into our heads and we defend ourselves, and we think of ourselves as separate to other people or other situations. It's like that thing there is affecting me and I don't like it. And so this separation is actually a great cause of suffering, because it's something that if you're sitting at home and you're feeling lonely, for example, then the ego comes in and it's like, I'm lonely, I don't like being here, I wish there was someone else here with me. Those are ego statements that accompany loneliness, and in fact make loneliness bigger because you're thinking about being lonely. You're not being in the moment with your loneliness, which is a different thing entirely, where you let go of your ego for those moments and you just sit with the feeling of what loneliness feels like. So noticing when we go into our heads and we separate, we use I don't like, I'm different, I'm better, I'm not so good. This is judging ourselves as a separate entity. And I'll talk more about separation and into being in another podcast forthcoming. But it's useful for this podcast to just notice when we go into our mind and we have this I, who is the I that is speaking? And this is a really interesting question because we can observe our thoughts, we can observe this ego. So you have to ask the question of, well, am I ego or am I something with ego, or what's happening here? How can I be an observer of I? um, so it's an interesting question, and don't I'm not expecting you to answer this. What's good is to notice that we have gone into this separate entity. And this separate entity is trying to make us safe. It's trying to free us from certain situations. And as I say, sometimes it's necessary and useful. But when you're stuck in a supermarket queue and you're getting angry, then it's probably not very useful. Or if you're in a traffic jam and you're getting annoyed, then it's not very useful. Or if you're shouting back at someone because they've said something you don't like, then it's not very useful. Uh, this is when mindfulness can come in and we start to notice our reactions to the present. We start to notice when we leave the present moment and go into our heads and judge something that's happened, goes into the past, or judging the future that hasn't arrived yet, which can cause worry and tension. So, our ego is different for all of us. Some people have a lot more ego because they're used to going into their heads, and maybe during their life they've had to go into their heads a lot more. Maybe they've had a very difficult upbringing, very difficult childhood, situations that have happened in people's lives can cause people to put their shields up, to protect themselves even more. So some people have, they will go into their ego automatically because of their learned response to situations that have happened in their life. So you can equate this to a suit of armour, and some people have really heavy armour, and their body feels it. They're tired a lot of the time. They're like they're wading through treacle. They're stressed at the slightest thing. They're judgmental. People who are really judgmental and in their heads a lot have a lot of ego armor. Um, so we are where we all are, and some people have less ego armor, and you find with mindful practice that you can start unbuckling this armor. You can let go of your helmet and your chainmail on your back, and start feeling lighter. So it's good to notice your energy, your body energy. There's a podcast on the body scan, which kind of links in with that. So, ego is not an enemy. It's not something to beat yourself up with. Like, oh gosh, I can't believe I just shouted at that person again. What an idiot I am. That's also your ego attacking itself. It can be quite irrational. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves for everything we've done in the past. We need to start again in the moment. Here we are, and what is happening right now? You're sitting, maybe, you're walking, you're listening, you're drinking tea, you're eating, you're in the car, wherever you are, that's where to start. And so, what we'll do is we'll meditate. We'll start right now. We'll give ourselves some present moment practice. And every time that we're in our present moment, we lose the ego and we enter being. Being is acceptance. It's being exactly where you are and being okay with that. If you're sitting at home and you're not okay with it, you're like bored or restless or beating yourself up or wishing things to be different, then you're in your ego, you're resisting what is actually happening. And so we need to try and accept what is actually happening. Some things are beyond our control to fix. If you can fix something, please do. If you can't fix something, there's no point being in your ego, judging, analysing, going over it, being upset, all of these things. It's fueling your emotions. So one way of calming your emotions down is to come out of your ego. So there's a real fun game called Spot the Ego, which again is, when you're out and about and you're doing your day, notice when you go into your head and you judge something and you're analysing something. You're like, oh, I don't like this. Or this can be something very innocuous, like, the amount of butter on a piece of toast. You might be munching your toast and going, there's not enough butter on this. This is no good. That's also your ego. But obviously that's not life threatening. You're not going to lose sleep over that, but you might be grumbling and reaching for the knife and trying to fix the problem, getting some more butter, which is fine. That's a fixable problem. But there's times when there's no fixable solution. So when that happens, the solution, I would say, is to become mindful. is to come out of your head and into your body and be kind and ask yourself how you're feeling. Be curious. Notice any reaction because it's a curiosity that can give us a learning. It's like, I'm getting annoyed over the fact there's no butter on my toast. Wow, okay. Annoyance is strong in this one. Let me breathe with this annoyance. Let me come back to the moment. I am annoyed. Yes, okay. Can I accept this? Yes, okay. I'm breathing in annoyance, my old friend. Breathing out calmness. You're letting go of your thoughts. That's what letting go of your ego armor is. And the more you do that, you'll be lighter, happier, calmer, more peaceful. And you find after a while that actually the little things in life don't annoy you as much. So you'll be able to stand in a supermarket queue without getting annoyed. You'll just smile at it. In fact, you'll laugh because you'll remember the times when you weren't happy in these situations. So we'll meditate right now, as always. I have my wee bell here, so I'll hit that to begin. So just relax, just enjoy this moment, just sitting, letting go of any I, me, and my in your mind. Let's just sit, and here we go. I'll hit the bell to begin. So just start by noticing your breathing, noticing your in-breath and your out-breath. Feeling the air as you breathe in, feeling the air as you breathe out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. And just place your hand on your tummy, just noticing the rise and fall of your breath. Tune in as well to how you're feeling just now. You may find some aches or pains or emotions present in your body. And just notice as well your posture and how you're sitting. Try and smile. Breathing in awareness of your body. Breathing out calmness to your body. So just take a few more conscious breaths. And just when you are ready, gently open your eyes, come back to where you are. So it was just a few minutes just to try and ground ourselves and try and not be in our ego. If you were focusing on your breathing or feeling the rise and fall of your tummy, or just enjoying just being, just sitting, then there is no ego in those moments. You're in the realm of being and you're in your realm of healing. You're not in your stress response, you're in a relaxed place. And so the more you can enter this relaxed place, this acceptance of what is happening, not thinking, just being, you'll find that over time things will change for you. You'll be calmer, more peaceful, and more at ease with whatever life is going to throw at us. So I hope this has been a useful podcast. There's plenty more, as I'm sure you're seeing in the list. So I hope you're enjoying these, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.